It's Saturday, September 14th, 2019. Making a video today, I want to talk about a few topics. One of them very concerning. It happened today. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo blamed Iran for coordinated drone strikes on the heart of Saudi Arabia's oil industry. The strikes shut down half of the kingdom's crude production on this Saturday. And what does this mean? Well, what it means is I think you're going to see the markets go absolutely bananas this coming week. I think we will see the Dow Jones break its own record this week. And it also means that you and I are going to be paying more at the pump for gasoline. This is going to drive the markets higher. Oil drives the stock market. It is definitely a big part of the stock market. It's a big driver, and this is good news for the stock market, although it's going to be bad news for you and I because we will be paying more at the pump, especially with possible production cut in half in Saudi Arabia. Now, we don't know if Iran did this. We don't know if the US did this. We don't know if Israel did this. We don't know who did this. Right now, Mike Pompeo is saying Iran did this, but we have to be very, very careful because it's hard to believe anything the government tells us. But one thing I do want to discuss regarding this attack and it costing you and I more at the pump was an interesting article that came out today on Zero Hedge. U.S. car ownership costs surge to record highs. So as we will be paying more at the pump, this article breaks down the cost of the new car annual cost. If you're driving on average of 15,000 miles, new car annual costs driving 15,000 miles a year comes to $9,282. That's $773 a month. And that is now about to go up as this attack that just happened in Saudi Arabia is going to push oil prices. We could easily see a barrel of oil increase minimal $10 easily this week. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw that increase in one day. But what we do know for certain is prices at the pump are going up, and your annual cost for that new car you're driving is about to go up also. Ownership costs have reached all-time highs, and they're about to go even higher. Rising costs are associated with borrowing costs, higher rates, and longer loans. And it's choking consumers. And now you're going to see oil prices going up, which is going to add to this. The finance portion of the annual vehicle cost rose 24% this year compared to 2018. Pickups and SUVs cost on average over $10,000 per year. And again, all these vehicles are going to cost more after what just happened today. Consumers on average spent $32,590 in August, up 5.2% year over year. Average interest rate is 5.8%, but the average loan term is 70 months. So, I mean, look at that average price of a car, $32,590, up 5.2% year over year. I mean, it's just shocking when you look at the price of rent, what people are spending on mortgages, car payments. I mean, just to operate a car at over $700 a month. I mean, this is just eating away your net income. Auto delinquencies surged in second quarter 2019. Biggest surge we've seen since 2010. So not good news. And again, get ready because it is going to cost you more money to drive that car. Here's another article on Zero Hedge today. National emergency, U.S. business formation goes negative. So again, markets are going to be up this coming week. No doubt about it. We're going to see record highs in the Dow Jones, in my opinion. But yet, we have so much bad news. It's just absolutely shocking how these markets are so manipulated. Applications to start new businesses plunged 16% between 2007 and the first half of 2019. I mean, these new businesses, small businesses, private businesses are the backbone of America. Applications dropped 2.6% in the first half of 2019. Why would applications for new businesses be dropping in such a healthy economy? Ask yourself that. Why are we going to be seeing interest rate cuts in such a healthy economy? What you see is reduced social and economic mobility. It means most of the growth is occurring in the corporate sphere, which keeps wage growth down and improves corporate profits. 54,000 fewer retailers employing less than 20 people were seen in the last decade, and 26,000 small manufacturers have closed shop. I mean, these are really concerning numbers. But yet most people are oblivious, will be oblivious to it. They're going to continue to spend on those credit cards. They're going to continue to go to football games. They're going to continue to go out to movies and support these industries that are totally against you. Home prices downhill from here. Another article on Zero Hedge. A decade of injecting, I mean, just think about this. A decade of injecting tens of trillions of dollars of thin air money into the world economy. What do the central planners have to show for it? We have no robust economy. Economic growth is dismal. We have no normalization. So what has it done? It made a very few very wealthy, while the middle class has been decimated, and we have more poor people, more people in America living in poverty. We have a homeless crisis, an epidemic surging across America in every city that we have here in the US. We also have rapid inflation in the prices of all assets the elite own. For everyone else, the cost of living has exploded while wages remain stagnant. You know, we keep hearing that wages are going up, they're going up. And what they don't want to tell you is the price of a loaf of bread is going up. A pound of chicken is going up, a pound of hamburger is going up, gasoline is going up. They don't really want to tell you that those things are going up, but they're going up much more than 2 or 3%. Savers have been starved of return with these low rates, and it's about to get worse as we're going to zero. As we go to negative, the saver is going to be punished. They're going to be starved. And so I don't know how an economy can continue to function on 0% rates, negative rates, not saving, and continuing to devalue their currency. Companies have borrowed to reward the executives handsomely while investing in automation to eliminate your job. What are we going to do with the millions of people who come here looking for work, the millions of people who come here, sneak over here, also looking for work, breaking the law to do it, when automation and AI is coming? It's being implemented right now. You see it at Walmart, you see it at McDonald's, you see it at multiple places. What are we going to do with all these people? We're not going to have these types of jobs or these labor jobs available. You're going to go work at a warehouse loading boxes. Automation is replacing that. What are all these people going to do? And what is the United States of America going to do with these people? We have the widest wealth gap in US history, and it's worsening every year. The central banks are going to continue to do more of what is not working. At least it's not working for you or I, but it's working for the 0.0001%. Expect to see more money supply. That's all they know how to do, is print more money. We're going to see more quantitative easing. We're going to see more 0% interest rates or negative throughout the globe. This means that your paper money is going to be devalued by rampant inflation, more than it already has been right now. The US dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power, and they are about to wipe out the last 3% of it. And people are going to say the US dollar is the strongest currency in the world. Yeah, it's the slowest one to hit the basement. It's the least sickest kid in the hospital. It's the least dirty shirt in the hamper. But it's sick It's on borrowed time. It has been devalued by 97%. And it may be the strongest currency of all the others, but it doesn't mean that it's not being destroyed. It doesn't mean that it's sick. It doesn't mean that it's on borrowed time. The US dollar is going to fall just like the rest of these currencies unless something is done very quickly. And the only thing I can think would be backing the US dollar with gold. And maybe that's what will save the US dollar, because that is the only thing that will save the US dollar. When we talk about real estate, it's a very sensitive subject for a lot of people, especially out here in Southern California, because people out here believe that their house is going to go up 20% every year forever. And they have this misconception that they can never lose, that real estate's a guarantee, that they're never going to lose money. And so people start believing this, and what we've experienced in the last few years here is the lack of fear in these markets. Fear is now becoming a factor where fear was not a factor over the last recent years. We've had an inverted yield curve, and that should be adding fear into these markets. It's not inverted now, but it was inverted, and to me the damage is already done. We know what history has taught us. Every time that yield curve is inverted, a recession follows. This will be no different, except this recession, I believe, will turn into a depression. We look at the marginal buyer. If the marginal buyer disappears, how much less is the next marginal buyer able to afford? April 2018 to March 2019, U.S. homes purchased by foreigners dropped 36%. That went from $121 billion down to $78 billion. And that's the result of capital controls, the trade war, the concerns of the trade war, slowing global economy. The net result is a lot less money flowing in to a propped up, inflated housing bubble. So people are starting to see this. They're starting to read about this. You look at people Googling recession. That's a word now that is being very highly searched out on Google, recession. And so people now are getting a little worried. They're getting a little concerned. And so fear now is coming back into these markets. Who's waiting for the housing crash? Investors are waiting for the housing crash. People who are stacking cash and assets, they're waiting for the housing crash. Huge asset management firms like BlackRock are waiting for the next crash, because this will be the largest wealth transfer the world has ever seen. BlackRock holds $24 trillion of properties, and they plan to double that in the next 5 years. And just imagine how many trillions of dollars of properties they acquired in the last crash. So many people watching this video right now, probably there's a handful of you out there right now, probably many people that are watching this video who had their house bought by BlackRock after they had gone through a default. Corporate America is getting ready to capitalize on the biggest wealth transfer the world has seen. Wall Street may be your new landlord. So I'm going to leave it there today, but here's a few things to think about. I believe I'm going to make a bold prediction here. I don't know if it's very bold, but I believe we're going to see a big week in the stock market. Expect to see metals crashed. So there's an opportunity. Now, people are going to get complacent. They're going to get filled with optimism. We're going to be told that the trade war negotiations are going incredibly well. And so this is just going to add fuel to the fire and drive these markets, as oil is going to push these markets to new all-time highs. What you should be doing is accumulating hard assets like gold and silver. The suckers are going to keep running into these markets, okay? They're going to keep suckering people into these markets, buying these overvalued bonds, overvalued stocks. People are going to continue to buy overvalued real estate because The complacency is coming back into these markets. Everybody is going to believe everything is okay. If we're at 27,000 points, well, we're going to go to 28. We go to 28, we're going to 30. Once we hit 30, we're going to 35. Of course, also, I truly believe we will get a rate cut this month of 25 basis points. This is going to fuel the markets also. So the markets just believe that they're indestructible now. The Fed is propping them up. Oil now is going to drive them, and optimism with the negotiations with China is going to continue to string all of us along. I truly believe we have to be very, very cautious here. Again, complacency is a killer, and too many people forget literally a week or two of what just happened. We just saw bond yields plummeting, precious metals going through the roof. Nothing with these trade negotiations, just continue to be strung along. We saw major hits a couple weeks ago in the stock market, but now this miracle has occurred, everything is okay. And so people forget, as recently as 2 weeks ago, what's happened. I haven't even forgotten what happened in 2008, and this smells a whole lot just like what we saw 11 years ago. Don't get complacent, don't forget, and don't forget that history always repeats itself. This is the time to be preparing. Don't get suckered into these overvalued paper markets. Don't get suckered into these overvalued, overpriced real estate markets. It's coming down. You do not want to be trying to get out of this when it happens. Everybody's going to be running for the exits. There's not going to be enough doors to get out of this. And people are going to literally get decimated. This is the time to be buying the cheap, undervalued, low assets like gold and silver. The two most undervalued assets in the entire world right now are on absolute sale. They are on a Kmart blue light special. You don't need to be buying overpriced real estate right now. You need to be buying underpriced assets and preparing for the sales that are coming. Look, BlackRock is preparing. Huge hedge funds and financial institutions are preparing to take advantage of what's coming. There are going to be massive fire sales in the stock market, in the real estate market, in the bond market. This stuff is going to be for the taking, but you have to be patient, but you need to be accumulating dry powder and getting ready for these massive sales. Look, the herd and the masses are going to get massacred. They're going to get decimated. You do not want to be one of these people. You may have to sacrifice a little bit of the profits right now, not being in these markets, but the way I see it is what you are going to be buying after this thing comes collapsing down, it's going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's going to be biblical, historical. And if you have cash and you have assets and you have patience, you are going to prosper and you are going to take advantage of this destruction. And I believe that the people that do that, like the BlackRocks, like these giant hedge funds, they're waiting, they're licking their chops, they're waiting, they're on standby, they're on the sidelines. Warren Buffett, $122 billion of cash on the sidelines. What do you think he knows that you don't? He knows that the sales are coming. And he may sit there for a year on the sidelines. He might sit there a year and a half on the sidelines, or he might be sitting 2 weeks on the sidelines with that cash. But he knows sooner or later, the real deals are coming. And the people who are impatient, the people who want it now, the people who are running up their credit cards, the people who are buying overvalued real estate, the people who are buying cars that they can't afford to own, but they're going to go out and lease them and just burn through money they don't have, borrow money that they don't have to buy or lease cars. These people are going to be the losers. People out there that are patient, the hedge funds, the BlackRocks, the Warren Buffetts, the people like you and I, we're going to sit back and we're going to wait. That day is coming. And when it does, we're going to take full advantage of it. So if people want to be stupid, if they want to be impatient, then they're going to have to suffer the consequences. The way I look at it is I've made sacrifices because I've had to save money. There's opportunities. I could be in these markets. I could be making some money right now. I could be going on a vacation. I could be driving a better car. There's a lot of things I could be doing, but I'm making a sacrifice right now of saving that money, purchasing assets so I have gold, silver, and cash on the sidelines, because I believe that this thing is coming down, that these markets are going to crash. They're going to crash hard. And I believe that there is going to be major opportunity when this occurs. So I can't say that I'm going to feel sorry for the people who were too blind to see, people who were so impatient that they had to drive a car they couldn't afford. They had to live a lifestyle they couldn't afford. They had to use money that they didn't have. They had to borrow money, use those credit cards and buy stuff on borrowed money. They bought a house that they couldn't afford. They bought a house that was too big than what they really needed. They bought a house in a zip code to impress people, to impress their friends or the family. How many people out there are just trying to live a lifestyle, drive a certain car or live in a certain zip code just to impress their family, to impress their mom and dad, or to impress their mom and dad's friends? This is no time to be showing off. This is no time to have an ego. Ego will kill you. It will bring you down. It will wipe you out. I've seen it happen. This is no time to be boasting a big ego. This is the time to really buckle up, accumulate that dry powder, and wait, because the sales are coming. I'm not going to feel sorry for the people who had to drive the BMW, the Mercedes, or the Lexus to impress me, okay? The main thing is you need to impress yourself. You need to be ready to capitalize on these sales that are coming. We don't need to impress anybody right now with what we're driving or what our zip code is. We need to impress ourselves. We need to be honest with ourselves, and we need to look out for ourselves, our futures. And by doing that, I believe we need to be very, very conservative right now. We need to be saving and stacking right now for these sales. So I'm going to leave it right there. Have an incredible weekend. God bless every one of you. Thanks for watching. Please share this video, like this video, hit that bell notification so that you are notified with the newest videos, and just put this video everywhere. Put it all over your social media, put it on Facebook, share it. We still have a responsibility in my heart to wake people up. And there's people out there now starting to wake up, and it's not too late for them to wake up and save themselves from this major depression that is coming to America that is going to just devastate so many people's lives. And I'm going to do whatever I can up until that point to make sure that people wake up. And if one person watching this video has woken up, I did my job. Have a great weekend. God bless every one of you, and we'll talk very soon.